Hi, today I want to walk you through setting up the Klippa Scanner SDK for iOS. There are a couple of requirements to set up the Klippa Scanner SDK. First of all is a working version of Xcode. You will need a username and password and a working license. In case you don't have a license yet or a username and password, feel free to contact us. Alright, to get started, we're going to open up Xcode and we're going to create a new project. We're going to select App. We're going to type in our name. In my case, I'm going to use Klippa demo. Then we've got the organization identifier. This is important later. You will need this when generating a license. Everything else I'm just going to leave default. And then I'm going to save it in my demo folder on my desktop. Today I'm going to be setting up the Klippa Scanner SDK using Cocoa Pods. So if we look at our documentation, we have two options, Cocoa Pods or Cartage. So again, I'm going to use Cocoa Pods. Then we're going to close Xcode. Make sure you fully close it, otherwise pod will not initialize correctly. And we cd into the directory where we have our app and we run the command pod init. That will create a pod file, and in this pod file we can declare our dependencies. So let's open up the pod file. I like to use Visual Studio Code to do so. And go to our documentation and we can copy this line. And paste it. In this case we use the latest pod spec, but you can specify a different version in case you want to. And we save that. Go back to the terminal and then run the command pod install. Once you've run the pod install command, we can open up the folder in Finder. And then we're going to open up the Klippa demo XE workspace. Obviously in your case, the app name will have your app name. Just make sure you open up the XE workspace. Once we open up the Klippa XE workspace, we're going to open up the project and then the target, because we need to set user script sandboxing to no. To find it easy, you can also just type here sandbox. Currently it's set to yes, probably will be in your case. Set this to no. Then there's two more things we need to add. We need to add the privacy rules. The Klippa Scanner SDK uses the camera and potentially could also use the photo library. So we need to give permission, or the users need to give permission that we can access them. To do so, we can click at the top here on the Info tab, and then at the bottom we click the little plus. And to find the exact categories that we need, we can go back to documentation. In this case, we go to this tab and we need the privacy camera usage description. So add that in there, and then you can add a description as to what you're doing. So in this case, I'm just going to say camera usage. You need a better descriptive name to show your users, but just to do it quick. Then we need to add a second one. Again, in this case, the privacy photo library additions usage description. And again, just a short message. Make sure you have it more explanatory for your users. Then to continue onward, we go to the content view. I'm going to remove the preview because it's taking up a lot of space. And then to verify that the Klippa Scanner SDK has indeed been integrated, we can import the Klippa Scanner like so. Now if we build the project, we should build without any problems. Build succeeded, so that's great. Then we can start integrating the SDK itself. At the top here we need two variables. So let's go to the tab starting the Klippa Scanner. We need a isPresented bool, and we need the license. Then in our body, we're going to remove both the image and the text, and we're going to remove the padding. in the VStack, we're going to add a button. This button will allow us to open up the SDK. Obviously, in your case, you can start it whenever or however you'd like, but in our case, we're going to use a button. And then we can add the Klippa scanner here at the top onto the VStack. Then we pass in the license into the license. Then again, if we now start the Klippa scanner SDK, it builds fine. I can start it onto the simulator. Currently nothing will happen because we still need to supply it with a license. And then we need to change the value to an actual license. There we go. So now if we start the scanner or start the app and press start scanner, it actually starts the scanner. So that's great. You can see it's black currently. The simulator does not have a camera, which is why it's black, but other than that, it works great. So the Klippa scanner can now successfully launch onto the simulator and or your devices. There are a couple of completion handlers that can be called when, for example, the Klippa scanner is done, or if there is an error thrown. To do so, we can go back to the documentation, and then we have three methods here. We have Klippa scanner did finish scanning with result, which will give you the result of the scanning. Klippa scanner did fail with error, which will give you a potential error, and cancel. Klippa scanner did cancel, which can be called when the user taps the cancel button. So I'm just going to copy all of this code here and paste it in there. Now if we run the Klippa scanner again and we click start, and for example we cancel the scanner by pressing the cancel button up here, we see the message scanner cancelled, which is the same message we wrote down here, so you can handle accordingly. The Klippa scanner offers a couple of customization options. There are many of them, as we can see on the documentation customizing the scanner. In this case, I'm going to keep it simple and show you how to change camera modes. So we click on the customizing the camera modes. There's quite a lot of code, but we can just copy all of it. Go back to our Xcode project and put it up here at the top. Then we select our camera modes, copy that. And then here at the bottom, we can simply say camera modes, and we supply it with the camera modes variable that we created here at the top. So what this will do is it will allow us to change camera modes within the Klippa scanner SDK. As we can see, the camera modes is not allowed to be at the bottom. It has to precede the did scanning with options result. We can click this red button, fix it, and it just puts it up top here. So again, let's run the Klippa scanner SDK. Open up the simulator, click start scanner, and now we can see the instructions is shown for the single document mode, and we can switch between the different modi, and the title here and the instructions can be adjusted. They're just simply from this information here. So that's how you set up the Klippa scanner SDK for iOS. If you have any questions, feel free to contact us. That's it.